Yeah, what did John mean at 1 John 4:18 when he said that perfect love casts fear out?
Let me get this set up. First time. So we obviously all know that humans lost perfection when Adam and Eve sinned in the Garden of Eden way back when. But we also know that humans will regain perfection thanks to the ransom sacrifice in the coming new world. The Bible, though, says that we can be perfect right now. The question becomes how? Come with me and let's read 1 John chapter 4 and verse 18. This is our theme scripture. Here at verse 18 it reads, "There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts fear out, because fear restrains us. Indeed, the one who is fearful has not been made perfect in love." So kind of reiterating what the scripture is saying is that we can have perfect love that casts or throws fear out right now. So the question becomes, what is this perfect love? Obviously, as imperfect humans, this cannot mean a literal perfection. So rather, the context shows that it relates to the freeness of speech in our prayers. Let's go back and read the previous verse, this time chapter 4 and verse 17. Here it reads, "In this way, love has been made perfect in us, so that we may have freedom of speech," or as the footnote reads, the confidence, "in the day of judgment. Because just as that one is, so are we ourselves in this world." Having perfect love means having the confidence in a relationship with Jehovah. This according to the footnote. How is our love perfect? As I said, it is not a literal sense, but rather relative. It is also similar to the verse Matthew 5:48 where Jesus stated, "You must be perfect." So this is not a literal perfection, but instead it is a wholehearted, a fully developed, and a fully embraced love encompassing all aspects of our lives. What is fear thrown out? Well, this is not a reverential fear of Jehovah or a normal fear that would keep us safe. Think of touching a hot stove or maybe eating something that's rotten. Instead, it is a fear of feeling like we're on, you could say, probation with Jehovah. So how should we understand this? First, it is the fear of not expressing ourselves freely to him in prayer. Like a child who would come to his loving parents for advice, even when he's made a mistake, he knows that he can come running to them and they'll accept and help him learn and improve. Just like that, we are confident that Jehovah will help us with any problem we may face. So, how can we attain this perfect love? Our final scripture is 1 John chapter 2 and verse 5. 1 John 2:5. "But whoever does observe his word, and this person, the love of God, has truly been made perfect." So this verse shows that if we observe his word, then our love can and will be perfect. So if we remain faithful, if we do as much as possible in the ministry and in other Christian activities, then our love will be perfect in a relative sense. How should a proper understanding of this verse affect us? Well, we all know the excelling value of our relationship with Jehovah God. That relationship with Jehovah is closer than that of a child who would have a close relationship with his parents, as I'm sure we all have. Jehovah wants us to speak to him from our heart. He wants us to ask for his direction in anything. We are not formalistic, nor are we mechanical in the way we speak to him, but instead we openly express our feelings, our needs, our concerns, our hopes, and our love for him. In conclusion, it is possible to have perfect love in a relative sense, even now in all of our imperfect human state. May all of us ensure that our love for Jehovah is not underdeveloped, but is filling our hearts and moving us to do his will wholeheartedly.